Hey everyone. So I think it's about time we show you what we're cooking, or what I'm cooking, with the vegetables that we get from the garden. I figured, the whole point of starting a vegetable garden and to sustain yourself is to eat it. So I wanted to start doing some regular videos showing you what I cook with the things that we use from the garden. So today I'm going to be making some couscous with a cabbage sauté to make a pad thai inspired dish. Alright, so first and foremost I want to go through our ingredients. Things I got fresh from the garden are the cabbage, some herbs. We have oregano, thyme, lemon, thyme, and rosemary. I got some scapes from the wildflower field and green onion as well. When the time comes, we're going to be able to get our own tomatoes, bell peppers, and onion, but that isn't ready in the garden just yet. We also are going to be using butter, minced garlic, tomatoes, pearl couscous, and panko breadcrumbs. So let's get to it. So what I'm actually going to do first is get the cabbage sauté started because that's going to take the longest to cook. So I'm going to get my onion prepared. I like to get everything ready before I actually cook it, so it's just like boom, 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 ready to cook. I'm just going to prepare these. I like my onions sliced. So we're going to peel this, flip it over. Get some nice slices. I like to slice them and then cut them into quarters afterward. I feel like you get the most of it that way. So I'm gonna get the onion and bell pepper started together. I feel like those take longer to cook than the cabbage, and I really want those flavors to come through first. I'm gonna just go this way. Actually, I'm gonna use quite a bit of bell pepper. These slice. And I am no professional chef, but I do really like to cook. So if you're expecting expert techniques, you ain't gonna find it here. In half too. Nice big slices. Now I'm gonna prep the cabbage. Now with the cabbage, when I cut it, I noticed we get like the middle of it in there, so I'm just gonna cut that off. And this is leftover cabbage from when I was using it the first time. So it's nice to see that one head of cabbage goes a long way. And I cut them into quarters, and I'm actually going to continue to cut it so we get nice strips of them. I think that'll be best for cooking it. It's so interesting, like, having to explain how I cook now, because I just like, a lot of the times I'm really just like winging it and seeing what happens. And things turn out really great most of the time. So I'm excited to be sharing it with you all. So this is what we're going to have for our cabbage. We have the cut peppers and the onion, and we have the cabbage as well. Now I'm going to prepare things for our other components. For the couscous, I'm going to be cooking it with tomatoes, so I'm just going to be slicing those into little slices like this. We're also going to be adding some green onion. I'm just going to cut those into little slices. Okay, so a really cool ingredient that I recently discovered were scapes. And these are essentially the flowers that grow from the wild onion and garlic around here. So a friend of mine came over and I've been using them in cooking after she introduced me to them. They're quite potent, so I wouldn't use too much of it. They have a really intense garlic-y onion flavor, so you really don't need too much of it. I'm just going to pick a few apart there, let it rain down, collect them. And it adds a nice little earthy garlic flavor to whatever you're you're cooking. I'm gonna be sauteing this in with the Cous Cous. Set that off to the side. And I'm gonna crush them to release the flavors. Ooh, you can already smell it. Ooh. Something I really appreciate about living in the country is just, I didn't realize just how many wild things were edible. You know, growing up in a city, you really just had access to what you had in the market. And you feel very confined to that, like things that you don't find in the grocery store. Are they safe to eat? Is it good for you? But really, after just doing some research, there's so many things in our wildflower field and that just grow wild on the property and native to Tennessee that are not just good for cooking, but they have a lot of medicinal properties too. Great. Make sure to use that. Fantastic. Now we can get to frying. All right, so now we are gonna get to cooking. I'm gonna get a 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm really not good with measuring. I really, again, like I said, just wing a lot of it. Get that going on a pretty medium flame. And then for the couscous, we're gonna use a tablespoon of butter. I'm just gonna look at the measurement here. 3 there. And while the cabbage is cooking, and the ingredients for the cabbage are cooking, we're gonna get our breadcrumbs ready and the couscous underway. And we're gonna use actually half a tablespoon of butter for the breadcrumbs. As you can see, butter is one of my favorite ingredients. So we have our butter sizzling. Now I'm gonna add in the onion and bell pepper. And I'm actually going to cover it. I feel like covering it really helps things cook through better. So while that is underway, we are going to prepare the green onion for the couscous. I'm going to medium flame that. I'm gonna add the green onion in there. I like to cook the green onion before I add in the couscous, because it really like cooks it down, and I like to get it that nice like charred, you know, consistency, which is hard to get if the couscous is already in there because they cook differently. So I'm just gonna let that do what it do. While this is in here, make sure you're flipping it around. Ooh, great. And now while these are cooking, we are going to prepare our breadcrumbs. I am allergic to peanuts, but I really love that crunchy element in food, so that's why I'm using Panko breadcrumbs, and we're just going to sprinkle that on top. For the Panko breadcrumbs, we're going to be using lemon thyme and Italian thyme, and lemon as well. And I actually don't cut up my herbs. I just kind of pluck them right off the stem. I feel like it's just fresher that way. I do give it a nice little clap though to release some of them oils. Like that really gets it going. I'm gonna get some of the herb sizzling in there. I love tangy flavors. Oh, it smells so good. That moves around a bit. And you want to add in your breadcrumbs. Add in the breadcrumbs. And you want to make sure that you are constantly stirring it because the breadcrumbs can burn quite quickly. So you definitely want to keep an eye on those. Fabulous. And We're also gonna squeeze in some lemon in there. This is up to you how much lemon you want to use. I love lemon, so I really just douse it in there, give it that nice tangy flavor. I like Panko breadcrumbs because it gives like that nice big flake rather than regular breadcrumbs, which just feels really powdery and dusty. This really gives you those crunchy crunches. So now that these are a little browned, the butter is getting a nice brown too. I'm gonna add in the couscous. You want to get that couscous nice and brown as well. A nice little toast on it. Already smells so good. These are doing. This is looking nice. I think we can add in the cabbage. Now that the cabbage is in there, I'm going to start seasoning it. I like using some seasoned salt at your discretion, however much you want to use. I like it salty. I like some flavor. Some pepper. And now that our cabbage is in there, I'm going to add in the rice vinegar. This gives it that nice tanginess and some sweetness too that I really love. Again, I don't really measure, I just kind of play by ear. I add in a little bit, and as it cooks, I taste it and I just add as I go. Oh my god, it already smells so good. Woo! I'm gonna cover it so it starts really reducing that down. Couscous is looking good. Nice charred green onion, just the way I like it. And, you know, once you add in the water, it really takes out that crisp from the onion as well, but you still get that nice char flavor, that smokiness. So you see I let go of that breadcrumb a little bit, start getting brown. It's getting nice and golden. And I think the breadcrumbs are actually done. So I'm just gonna let that sit there in the heat, and it'll heat up whatever else needs to get crisped up. So again, I used a cup of couscous. So we're gonna add a cup and a half of water to cook it through. Couscous is a new thing for me. I only recently started using it a few months ago. Since going vegetarian, it's been a really nice element to add to cooking to add in that protein element as well. Let's see, I'm actually gonna add in the tomatoes now to get these a little seared as well. As you can see, my camera's just here for the close-ups. It's funny, my actual job outside all of this, outside of the homesteading and the ranch, is a professional photographer. So I actually have a little studio in town that is up in operation. I just opened it a few months ago. Super exciting. It's really nice having all this equipment so I can show you guys the lifestyle in high definition. I'm actually going to add a pinch of rice vinegar to the couscous too. I think it'll help tie in the two elements nicely. Not too much, because I want this to have more of that flavor, but it'll give the couscous a nice tang as well. A little bit of salt too. You can never have too much flavor, let me tell you. It's getting hot. It smells divine, everyone. So now I'm going to add the garlic to the cabbage. I add this last because this tends to cook very quickly. I like a lot of garlic, so I'm sure just gonna pile it in there. Really great flavor comes from garlic. And, oh goodness, I almost forgot. The last thing I want to add to the Cous Cous is going to be our scape. Just a pinch of it, not too much. The scape cooks really fast, so it's not too bad that you add it in late. Everything is really starting to cook it down. Now it's time to add our water. Do 1.5 cups. Nice and mixed together. We're just gonna let that do its thing. It smells so good. And now it's really just a waiting game. I like things to get really nice and reduced and caramelized, so I tend to cook it a little longer than you might like to. It's really just a matter of preference. I think I'm gonna do... It's hard to determine if I want it. I smell the herb. I think I'm gonna do some thyme with the cabbage as well. Just add a little bit of green in there. Just literally cooling it off the stem. So you want to cook the Cous Cous to the point where it gets nice and fluffy. And the cabbage so that it's nice and caramelized and has that nice roasted texture and flavor. So we'll check back in when it's time to plate everything. It is smelling amazing. It is almost time to plate everything. Let's check and see how it's doing. Oh boy. Yeah, you see that nice char? That's what you want. I'm actually gonna give you a close-up so you can see what it's looking like. Really nice char on there, nice and caramelized. Couscous. I think it's time to plate. Beautiful, nice and layered. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Love a colorful dish. I like a lot of breadcrumbs. Little dash of oregano. And voila, it's complete. All right, now the taste test. Let's see how it came out. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's nice and hot. Oh my god. I wish I could taste this. It's amazing. It has a really nice sweetness because of the rice vinegar, and then that tanginess from the lemon just brings it all together. And the crunch from the breadcrumb. Wow. Wow, wow. Wow. Really takes you for a ride. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into my first cooking video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to grow your own vegetables and actually taste what fresh food should taste like. I hope it inspires you to cook. Please comment, like, and share, and let me know what you think. Take care. Oh, so good.